Welcome to Sex Positive Gaming. I'm Annie, and today we're going to look at 10 of the best fantasy games with adult content. So, when I started making this list, there were so many awesome games to choose from that I had to narrow it down further. These fantasy titles are all Tolkien-influenced Western-style fantasy games. I will absolutely revisit this flavor later on this year to add other cultures and influences. First up, we have Love of Magic. This is a modern fantasy title about an American who is Harry Potter to a magical university in Scotland. In this harem RPG, everyone's magic manifests in a way that is meaningful and personal. In the case of our main character, that means using your crippling poker addiction to cast spells. Add the developers Droid Productions' real-life MMA and Muay Thai experiences and you get a really weird game, but it's actually really fun. I'm not sure if Hogwarts, MMA, and gambling are flavors, but there are definitely elves, monsters, and tentacles in this goofy harem adventure. Part 1 is already complete on Steam, and Part 2 is well underway. I'm not sure where this crazy train, Prisoner of Azkaban style night bus is going to take us, but so far it's a fantastic ride. I just covered Long Live the Princess as part of Flavor of the Week Fantasy. This game has knights, magic, fairies, witches, and a murder to solve. It even eventually has a princess in it. Your character gets to magically mind control their way through a town full of potential waifus in this harem visual novel. This is one of those games where you can't do everything in one playthrough. There is a new Game Plus mode to let you quickly and easily experience all the potential flavors including mind control, monster girls, impregnation, corruption, costumes, power exchange, and even some optional NTR. The main story and epilogue are completed, so enjoy actually finishing this free-to-play harem mystery. I'll be covering the next title, Corrupted Kingdoms, on Friday. This is another magical mind control harem adventure, but this one has a major monster girl focus. Like so many flavors of monster girls, and looking at the way the builds are progressing, you may be able to impregnate all of them by the time this game reaches its male power fantasy conclusion. On top of the harem, impregnation, and monster flavors, you also get costumes, corruption, power exchange, lactation, BDSM, and mind control. And yes, I am aware that the cowgirl is named Annie. Moving on. The next title is Seeds of Chaos. This is the first title I ever covered with Sex Positive Gaming. Well, because it's probably my favorite game with adult content. Why? Well, I love dark fantasy and I love flavor choices. This game has just about all of the flavors. Domination, femdom, futanari, impregnation, lactation, corruption, power exchange, monsters, monster girls, NTR, BDSM, gay, lesbian, group, orgies, magic, demons, religion, and others that I have forgotten to mention. I am also designating Minotaurophilia as a flavor because Greyhide is obviously best girl. Anyways, imagine the whole hero saves the day from the Demon King and settles down with a hot redhead to live happily ever after. Then, the two children of the Demon King show up and capture you and your wife, and now you are racing against the clock to find a way for the two of you to escape before you both become irrevocably corrupted. The only issue I have with this game is how long it is taking to finish. It is currently almost done with the first third of the game, but there are builds released on Steam every month or two. Seriously, Seeds of Chaos is a buffet of optional flavors and there is a combination out there for everyone. What a Legend is the newest game on the list. It was one of my top new Patreons of 2020 and it has exploded in popularity this year. This is an irreverent comedy dating sim adventure very much in the style of the old Leisure Suit Larry or The Bard's Tale. This game has monster girls, furry, feet, toys, and impregnation as flavors. Look for my full review Monday. Peasant's Quest is our sole RPG Maker title on the list. I know that there are a ton of JRPG fantasy games, but remember this list has a Western focus and I will revisit this flavor of the week, fantasy, later this year. This is your standard hero's journey where you start from nothing, gain levels, save the day, and impregnate every damsel, barmaid, elf, and monster you come across. Like, you are committed to this. You even use potions and magic to make sure the parts can fit together in some cases. This game is long, involved, and you will need a walkthrough, but if your flavors include impregnating monsters, this is your game. I mean, this is a Gary Gygax talking about potions of giant growth mixed with filters of love level of interspecies breeding. The Last Barbarian was a highly requested game for me to cover. What none of you told me was that it's basically a nudist game. So here we go. I said not a nudist game. That is the Flintstones, not barbarians. Whatever. In this game, you play as a female barbarian and you fight and have sex with everything. You can customize what you are wearing, but you're just gonna take it off anyways because of a sexual interaction or a bug. The dialogue is either really poorly localized or the developer said, make it sound like Conan from Conan the Destroyer, but use that scene where Conan is drunk. But if you can get past this game's many defects, the combat is actually pretty good and you get impregnation, lactation, demons, monster girls, and power exchange flavors. This title has the potential to be great, but there are currently a ton of flaws holding it back. Jerez's Arena is our only trainer game on the list. Don't worry, I will be doing Flavor of the Week Trainer in June. This is another completed title available on Steam. In it, you help 2 women fight their way to become arena champions. Or you guide them into a sea of corruption and hedonistic bliss. As seems to be required by law with all trainer games, this is a bit grindy. You have the option to improve skills of a combat or courtesan nature. Flavor-wise, you are looking at monsters, elves, management, power exchange, BDSM, sharing, and a whole lot of corruption. Like, even the good ending involves massive corruption. Spoilers. If that is your jam, then this is your game. Kingdom of Deception was a big surprise for me. I thought it was just going to be another corruption-focused female protagonist fantasy game, but it was actually really good. There's a whole dominant submission metric that impacts your experience, but there are also combat stats, character affection, and factional loyalties on your path to freedom. Or not so freedom. The flavors so far are domination, femdom, corruption, impregnation, monsters, BDSM, and a ton of power exchange. I'm definitely going to schedule a full review for this game later this year because I had a blast playing it. And finally, we have the Fate of Irnia. This fantasy visual novel is by the same developer, Winterlook, of a game I reviewed before, Shelter. This plays like a choose-your-own-adventure style visual novel. There are many endings, but not a lot of additional features we see in Shelter. This is a mind control focused harem experience. There is also domination, femdom, impregnation, BDSM, corruption, monster girl, feat, and power exchange flavors. The story is okay, but the art was really distracting for me. It felt like there were 5 different artists doing the backgrounds and models. If you really like Shelter and fantasy, you will probably enjoy this mostly completed game, but otherwise I suggest playing Shelter first. It has better art, better mechanics, and is a much better game. There you have it. I hope everyone is able to find a fantasy flavor that fits, be it fairy, familiar, fetch, or fire demon. Let me know which game you're most excited to try out, or one that you already love. And please, keep sending in your game suggestions and recommendations. But remember, no shaming, just gaming.